Every great empire thought it would last forever. Rome ruled the ancient world. Britain ruled the seas. Spain ruled the New World. And now, the United States rules the modern age. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. What if history isn't just something that happened to them? What if it's about to happen to us? Because the truth is, no empire ever saw its own end coming, until it was too late. And today, the warning signs are flashing again. Think about it. Every time you open your phone, watch a movie, or buy a product, you're living in America's empire. One built not on kings and colonies, but on culture, money, and power. But history tells a brutal truth. Every empire rises, peaks, and then collapses. It happened to Rome, whose legions once ruled 3 continents. It happened to Britain, whose navy commanded the world. And it happened to Spain, whose treasure fleets made it the richest kingdom Earth had ever seen, until greed and war tore it apart. So here's the question. Could the United States be next? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might start noticing history repeating itself, right in front of our eyes. Empires don't just fall because of enemies, they fall because of themselves. They grow too fast, spend too much, fight too many wars, and forget what made them great in the first place. Right now, the US stands as the world's superpower. Military bases across the globe, cultural dominance, and a dollar that still rules global trade. But look closer. The national debt has passed 34 trillion. Political polarization has reached levels unseen in generations. Infrastructure is aging. Trust in government and media is near historic lows. And globally, America's influence faces new challengers, from China, Russia, and the rising economies of the global South. If Rome fell from internal decay and Britain from exhaustion, could America fall from overconfidence? Because history doesn't punish weakness, it punishes arrogance. The cycle of empires. Every empire follows the same pattern: rise, expansion, domination, decline, collapse. In the beginning, a strong vision unites people, a belief in destiny, freedom, or divine purpose. Then comes prosperity, conquest, and pride. But with power comes corruption, inequality, and complacency. Eventually, the same strengths that built the empire become the forces that destroy it. This isn't conspiracy, it's math and memory. And we've seen it again and again, in Rome, in Spain, in Britain, and maybe now in the United States. Rome, the blueprint for every empire. The Roman Empire is the classic example. At its peak, it stretched from Britain to North Africa, from Spain to Syria. Its legions were feared everywhere. But the empire's biggest enemy wasn't the barbarians, it was itself. Rome grew too big to manage. Corruption spread through politics. The rich got richer while the poor starved. Taxes soared, trade faltered, and soldiers were sent to die in wars far from home. Sound familiar? Rome's senators blamed each other, citizens lost faith, and by the time invaders reached the gates, the empire was already hollow inside. The parallels with modern America are hard to ignore. Military overstretch, political division, economic inequality, moral fatigue. Rome thought its greatness was eternal, and that's what destroyed it. Spain, the empire that drowned in gold now. Let's look at Spain, an empire that rose faster than any before it, and collapsed almost as fast. In the 1500s, Spain discovered unimaginable wealth in the New World. Gold and silver flooded in from Mexico, Peru, and the Caribbean. Treasure fleets crossed the Atlantic every year, loaded with riches. Spain became the first truly global empire, stretching across Europe, the Americas, Africa, and Asia. For a century, it was unstoppable. Kings like Charles V and Philip II ruled with divine confidence. They built cathedrals, funded wars, and believed God had chosen them to rule the world. But that endless gold came with a hidden curse. Spain didn't invest its wealth, it spent it. Wars with England, France, and the Ottoman Empire drained the treasury. Inflation skyrocketed, prices quadrupled as silver flooded the market. The empire became addicted to money it didn't earn. By the 1600s, Spain was drowning in debt. Its navy was crippled, its colonies restless, and its rivals stronger than ever. By the 1800s, it was gone. And if that sounds distant, look at modern parallels. A superpower addicted to spending, borrowing more than it produces, and relying on foreign labor and global trade to maintain its lifestyle. Spain's lesson is simple. When wealth replaces work, collapse follows. Britain, the empire that ruled the seas. Then came the British Empire, the industrial titan of the 19th century. Britain built factories, ships, and railways that connected the planet. Its navy dominated every ocean. English became the global language. But like Rome and Spain, its golden age hid fatal cracks. 2 world wars drained its economy. Its colonies demanded freedom. And when the US emerged from World War II richer, stronger, and more influential, Britain had to step aside. The empire didn't end with an explosion. It simply ran out of energy. The US then became what Britain once was, the new world policeman. But history whispers, the crown never stays on one head for long. America's empire, built different but not immortal. The United States likes to say it isn't an empire. But let's be honest, if Rome ruled with legions and Britain ruled with ships, America rules with dollars, media, and missiles. Its influence reaches everywhere, from Hollywood to Wall Street, from McDonald's to Microsoft. But that global reach comes with a price tag. The military budget now hovers near $900 billion per year. The US maintains over 750 foreign bases. Meanwhile, cities at home struggle with poverty, addiction, and division. History shows a pattern. Empires fall when they spend more maintaining control abroad than improving life at home. And there's another sign, when the population loses faith in its own system. Just like Rome's citizens lost faith in the Senate, and Britain's colonies lost faith in the crown, millions of Americans today say they no longer trust their government or elections. That's not a small crack. That's the foundation splitting. The warning signs are already here. Let's list the parallels clearly. Historical empire, key sign of decline. Modern parallel in the US Rome, political corruption and elite control. Lobbying, partisan gridlock Spain. Economic over-reliance on imported wealth, massive national debt and foreign manufacturing dependence. Britain, military exhaustion and colonial backlash. Endless foreign wars, growing global resentment, all 3. Decline of shared values and social unity. Polarization, loss of national trust. You see the pattern? It's not about the past repeating exactly. It's about rhyming. The US isn't doomed, but it's definitely in the danger zone. And if it doesn't correct course, it could slide down the same hill that swallowed the others. Now picture this moment, the point where empires cross the line between power and decline. It doesn't happen with one big event. It starts quietly, like a slow leak in a dam. Imagine the dollar loses its status as the world's main currency. Suddenly, imports cost more, inflation surges, and living standards drop. All while rival nations form their own economic alliances, leaving the US on the outside. At the same time, military costs keep rising. Troops are deployed to new conflicts. Public support for intervention fades. Domestically, protests, inflation, and distrust fuel division. Then one day, the US wakes up and realizes it's no longer setting the world's agenda, it's reacting to someone else's. That's exactly what happened to Spain after losing its treasure fleets. It's what happened to Britain after World War II. And it's what happened to Rome when it could no longer control its borders or its economy. The scariest part? Empires rarely realize they've fallen, until they already have. So, could the US become the next fallen empire? The honest answer, yes, if it ignores the lessons of those before it. Rome fell because it grew too proud. Spain fell because it drowned in its own wealth. Britain fell because it overextended itself across the world. The US faces all 3 dangers at once. But it doesn't have to end the same way. America still has unmatched creativity, innovation, and global influence. If it reinvests in education, infrastructure, and unity, instead of endless wars and debt, it could avoid the fate that claimed the others. Because the real enemy isn't outside the walls. It's within them: apathy, greed, and division. Empires don't die in battle. They die when they forget why they existed in the first place. And the US still has a choice: to learn from history or become its next chapter. Watch the next video, because history's warnings are far from over.